Welcome. This is the July 9th, 2025 meeting of the Development Review Board. There's two items listed on the agenda. The first one is effectively been withdrawn, so we will be starting with item 2. If you haven't signed in, please do. I saw you both sign in. It doesn't look like there's anybody joining us remotely, so can skip that part. Are you both going to speak today to the application?
I don't know.
All right, well, let me swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear and affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, would you please come forward and let us know where you're at with your application? And before we get started, does anyone on the board have any conflict of interest concerning this application?
I don't. No,
I do not. I do not either. Thank you. All right, if you would, for the record, please introduce yourself and let us know what you have.
Okay. John Paul Lavoie. So you might remember this, we were here in April for sketch plan review. So we're here now with the preliminary PUD application. I guess it's conditional use application. And the project is to tear down a current garage at 167 West Main Street and rebuild that with a slightly bigger garage with an apartment on the second floor. So we're applying for conditional use for that, apartment space. We have a duplex currently. So we're looking to add an apartment over the garage in addition, so we can't just get a zoning permit as a accessory dwelling unit for that reason.
Okay. Has anything changed since you were in for the sketch review?
Has anything changed? Nothing. I guess nothing groundbreaking. A fair bit of our conversation then was about getting our property surveyed, because one of our desires is to keep the building roughly where it is, which doesn't meet the 10-foot setback for a living space. The survey shows that the building is now something like 5 feet from the property boundary. So that's new. I mean, we have more detailed plans that we've worked through with an architect, but even those, I would say, like, we decided with the architect to kind of pause until we figure out the results of this meeting and work with the builder to, seemed like it didn't make sense to like finalize plans until we saw how things shook out tonight.
Okay.
So I think, I don't know if there's anything else new that.
I'm just going through the staff notes here. Any questions from?
Yeah, Pete, did you look at, this is so familiar to me because I basically did a very similar thing. The multifamily housing standards, Tyler made, those were really extensive. And I have not looked through all of them right now. I'm looking at them right now, but I remember there were some issues there when we were doing it that are should be noted probably.
yeah, and they're definitely in there.
Okay.
There should be some headings on that.
Okay.
There were no glaring issues. I think that there's some landscaping issues that needed to be done.
Okay, I think I see this traffic, landscaping and screening.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's actually the site plan review requirements of that.
Yep.
What did I put in here? Yeah, conditional use. Conditional use.
Okay, so I have, it's 6.
13 or
I mean, these are silly, but just the front doors, we don't know what the design of the building is going to be like yet.
Well, I mean, there's a design as part of the application. It's just, I guess I don't see it as finalized because I don't know how things are gonna shake out tonight. I guess
Yeah.
the only thing to say is, talking with the builder, it's likely, for example, that the porch on the backside will just not happen.
Okay.
Just because cost of things that are just outrageous.
so,
But
yeah.
I think, and
There we go.
it may be that I don't even know what you call them, Yeah, thank you. Maybe that those dormers don't happen as well.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to like work with the builder to figure out what makes sense, but this is roughly the idea. Imagine that. So if you look at some of the other views, the porch, there's a lot of, anyway, that porch just most likely will just not happen.
These are the recommendations.
So downstairs, that will likely be more of one big open space rather than what you're looking at there, again, just because of cost of things, but
Yeah, the big thing is what is the allocation requirements for this unit?
allocation in terms of,
Wastewater and water.
yeah, so I talked with even yesterday, and I kind of sent him some information, and he said he was gonna talk with the town engineer and
You have, you have, what, a 3-bedroom home in the front and a one,
Yeah.
and a 1-bedroom apartment or whatever?
Correct.
Okay, so 2 and 2, and you're proposing a 1-bedroom apartment?
one or two
Two.
is at the moment, we're gonna.
So your engineer will probably, you're probably gonna require, what do you have, 3/4 inch copper coming in?
I don't know.
Are you-
And I don't know, Stephen, I don't know if we will start a new line right from basically the sidewalk in front
Yeah.
of the house is where the water's coming through.
Right,
So I don't know if it might make more sense just to start a new line from there.
Yep.
I don't know.
the town's probably gonna recommend that.
Yeah.
You want to get that tightened up at final for sure.
Yes, yeah, this is only the preliminary, correct?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
preliminary. So we get that tightened up, and we'll do that as part of your decision tonight.
Yep.
As best you can.
Keith, could you go back to the views? I just wanted to show my wife. They look like, yeah, that the renderings, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice looking building, I like
It
it.
is, looks great. Not now. All right.
Take a selfie.
Tell, it's been a while since I've done this, so. Let me get to where I need to go here, which is.
So many buttons.
Hybrid meetings are the worst.
Let's get this survey plat up.
I went on the website like you suggested. I saw that, but I didn't see it, so I just.
There we go, 102. So yeah, as you guys go further into, and your engineer and architect should look in this for your final, you're gonna want to take a look at, because I missed this, and you're gonna want to take a look at section 6.13 of the zoning. It's a how do I say this? It's
Multifamily standard.
yeah, the multifamily housing standards, and there's a lot of them in there, and a lot of us think that some of them are silly, and there should be more corrections, but as they stand now, sorry, I'm just trying to get to them right now. It's been a while.
While he's trying to get to him, could I see Keith, can I see
I can't hear you, but
could I see the views that you showed me of the house? of the
Sure,
building
absolutely.
On the outside? That's
Six
what I-
point
Just wanted to show my-
1.3, you said?
6.13.
Okay, I was gonna say,
So there's a ton of things on here. We don't have to go through them all since there's going to be a final anyway, but your architect and your engineer will want to specifically look at all of these. Some of it is silly because you're only what you're proposing. But if it doesn't meet it as the board, we would have to say it's a no-go.
yeah, I did look at these, and you'll see in the comments, I believe,
Yeah.
in my, wherever the heck they are. Staff comments. Standards, it's straightforward note review, wastewater allocations, no fire department. We did get the letter from the fire department. There's no issue there.
Cool.
Yeah, the landscaping and screening under site plan review. I specifically did not do a multifamily housing development standard review for this. I was actually focusing on Jelena Court,
Yeah.
and where hardly any of this really mattered anyway, but I know that I talked about making sure that, any lighting that you have, site lighting is downcast.
Yeah.
And the like. screening for parking is not planned, but it's not required, but it should be. It's that type of language that we're dealing with here. But this was developed for this specific type of infill development.
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't know how you would screen parking from who?
from the road.
So yeah, so from the road, from your neighbors,
I mean, because the driveway is between the parking and the neighbors, so I don't.
We have to put
You
trees
can't-
in the driveway.
you pull
Yeah,
in.
Site specific. It really
That's
is.
what I'm wondering, like, if,
And in terms of parking, just look at the staff notes. Got a total dwelling count of 3, requires 3 parking spaces. How are you fixed there?
Yeah, 4.
Perfect.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we'll want to denote that on the survey or on the site plan.
Yeah, plus you guys can note, you can actually, I see it right here. You have a cedar hedge. That can be your screening. Does that make sense? It's like, there's something there that's provided screening to the road.
Screening from Route 2,
Right.
for sure. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the screening is specific to the neighbors, for light trespass.
Yeah.
That's the intent of that.
Most of these other things don't apply, but
Yeah, so you see in my notes, if they do apply, I will write them down. If they don't, I don't bother.
fair enough. I like that.
Keith, staff notes say site lighting to be discussed. Does that mean here or
I'm sorry, what?
the staff notes say site lighting to be discussed?
Yeah, because none was offered. I don't know what you're gonna do on the house. And you can make a at final or even at preliminary, you can make a condition that all lighting must be downcast cut off.
yeah, I think my only plan, I mean, there obviously will be windows upstairs that have lights on, but exterior lighting, the only thing would be on the front of the garage, pointing down on the parking, which is, there's a light
Right.
there now in the current garage.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a classic. I mean, obviously, this is going to be updated. I mean, I feel it's going to have to be. You don't have a garage door there.
Oh, are you putting a garage? You are the first.
Well, we're
No.
still trying to decide
Yeah.
because the parking is
but you got.
kind of oriented the other way, right in front of the garage. I'm
Yeah,
not sure we would ever pull a car into the garage.
yeah, and you have
So-
plenty of parking already, right? That's
Yeah,
fair.
so
Yeah.
we're going back and forth. Does it make sense to have garage doors just in case in the future someone else wanted to pull a car in?
Would you,
See doing it?
so you would just make that one full living structure then?
No.
No, the
No.
downstairs would still be garage,
Oh, okay.
not for when I say garage, I've never put a car in.
Like a shed,
garage,
like a shed,
but
like a
it's-
shed.
Yes, like, our bikes and boats and garden stuff and, yeah. But I don't-
It's conditioned space.
Yes,
I think it likely will
Yes.
be.
yeah.
Changing topics, just noting, Jen Clark, I see you joined us. If you're here for the site application, that's not being heard tonight. That was essentially withdrawn. So just want to make sure anyone out there who tuned in for that, we're hearing the Lavoie application and that's it tonight. All right.
So John Paul, at the beginning of your presentation, you suggested that this plat doesn't reflect the location of the building on the property.
No, that plat does, at sketch plan review, we didn't know exactly where the property line was.
Okay,
So that's new since we were here last, this is a new survey.
Yes.
And
this-
so,
the one that we have is dated May 23. Is that the most current version?
this is the most current.
This one is the most current. Yeah.
Okay, so this shows the proposed building 5 feet from the sideline.
Correct.
And
You can see the gray box within the yellow, that's the current garage.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
So this is a PUD application, plan unit development, and you can adjust the site, you can adjust the setbacks as a result.
Okay.
And that's what they're asking is to keep the current setbacks. The setback is 10 feet.
Yep.
In this yard, and there is a stipulation which I find a little bit amusing. Is the hog pen and barn. Not to be within 15 feet, but that's an agricultural use. I don't know if that applies here. I'm not the arbitrator of that. But it is within the setback, but it's within the rights of the DRB to allow that. And obviously, if folks have an issue with it, they bring it up and you deliberate.
I just wanted to be clear, you're not suggesting to move the building so that it is outside of the 10-foot setback. You do want it to be within 5 feet of the sideline.
That's correct.
Okay.
We would like to leave it in the current garage's
All right,
position more or less.
Yes, he does want it to be outside the 10-foot setback. Yes,
But I think it's gonna be inside, because depending on what you are
Gonna
thinking
be
about.
at
is
5
inside.
feet.
Yeah, it'll be 5 feet from the property line approximately.
right, which
Yeah.
is outside the setback.
outside, yes, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and with the new survey brought up what my rights are to the driveway. I always thought the driveway was that line that is kind of bifurcating the new structure by one here. But actually, the line turns out that it's the center of the driveway, and back then, 5 feet further plus whatever it takes to make a good driveway was conveyed to the owner of my property. So there's a note inside the footprint of the original building there that you can see.
Yeah.
And there's a note up on my lawn that you also can see about these deed restrictions that have been in place for over a century. It's my understanding you would have the right to waive a regulation, but does the board have the right to waive a legal document between owners from 100 years ago?
I would say not. Right.
Right. So all of that is new, it was to me when I saw this plat.
So is there any written cross easements between these two property owners as to the use of that shared driveway? Or is it just based on deed restrictions?
There has never been a written driveway agreement.
Okay.
When the Lavoies moved in, I offered to share plowing costs by an outside contractor. But we didn't do that. Okay, just take care of it as cheaply as we can ourselves. And frankly, I've liked that. I didn't want any agreement because even if it benefits me, it's gonna be some sort of encumbrance at some point of something I gotta do. Okay,
So excuse my ignorance here. I'm new at this. You own the adjoining property?
right, I'm that property there that is referred to, I'm Morris.
Okay.
It's also referred to as roads and also referred to as Wortham, as these agreements or these rights on their property were referred to.
Any other questions from the board?
I guess the only thing I would say is, so the driveway is what, like 10 feet wide approximately?
Yeah.
So it's about half, you guys share about half and half then?
Yeah.
Approximately.
Yeah, we share it.
Yeah. That's different than the first meeting, right? Where we thought the driveway was 100% his.
Right.
Yes, we, based on the crude kind of like GPS stuff you see
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
The line was, it actually almost looked like some of the garage was on Morris property.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did not have a good idea where the property boundary was.
Cool.
Right, so effectively, and I believe it, I mean, it says that the surveyor found where that 5-foot strip got conveyed to Hattie, somebody or other in 1892, I can see that. Plus this deed language that coincides with the setback. Frankly.
Cool.
So, and then it's unspecified in width. Up here, this 5-foot strip, that note says unspecified width. And it's my opinion that that was a future, far-reaching future wise, council. Because it says, it also refers to making a good driveway. I think they realized cars and things were coming along and maybe a wagon width isn't enough. That's my reading. All of that said, to have them put it on the property line would take your waiver to, at least to get around the zoning.
Yeah.
But not the rest of it. Now, I think there's solutions that we can come up with.
You're generally fine with this as presented, right?
I was until I understood everything and I had more experience with my own driveway.
Okay.
In the past year. The driveway continues on.
Sure.
It turns into a grassy area, but it wasn't always that way. That one goes down into a barnyard. If it were to go straight.
Where it curls to behind your house there?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that was a farm access road to the barn, which that retaining wall is an 8-foot tall, first floor subterranean, 3-story barn foundation.
Sure. So what?
So the wagons and everything used to drive on down there. And then this barn replaced the other barn.
Yeah.
In 1919, 1920, and they used to drive down there, and I still do.
Sure.
So I've had problems kissing that property once, frankly, a couple months ago. Right here. As I was backing my trailer back here, I needed to do this, and I kissed the corner of the driveway. I mean, I kissed the corner of that building.
Okay, so you don't like where the new building is gonna be then?
No, I don't like it, but there might be a way to work around this with solutions and.
Well, I remember this is pretty fresh in my mind. Were you guys able to shift it at all, a foot or two? Was it like it drops off too much? Like, I'm just trying to figure out if there
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is,
It's the sewer line coming from our house to this back.
Right.
Get the,
where's that shown again on here?
That's right here. And we all know how simple it is to put a sewer line in, it's just plastic. They're gonna have a backhoe in here for the foundation work anyhow. But
That's still like, that sewer line has still gotta be at least 5 feet from the building, right? So,
that's private. And
What?
then this part here is town.
right, no,
So these 3 houses plus their house ties in at the town right of way.
Sure.
It goes here.
no, and I understand all that. Now, what I'm trying to get at is, they obviously would rather not dig that up. You would like to have more room in a setback. Is there a way you guys, since that's, again, we don't have it exact, but that's probably 5 to 10 feet, somewhere in that range between the edge of that building, new proposed building, and that sewer line? Is there a way, if they give you a couple of feet, because you said you barely touched it? You know what I'm saying? Is there a way that instead of them having to dig up the entire sewer line and it gets steeper? I remember.
Oh, they don't have to dig up this sewer line. They give themselves a giant buffer when they. ask
well,
for
no, I mean,
boys.
he's talking about the other one. That one, we can't,
You're talking about.
that's
this one.
why the building is where it is, because we can't
we
be
can't
within
go
that
beyond
easement.
that.
You're
No,
talking about the sewer.
I'm talking about the one going from
the service line.
the service line.
Oh, the service line. Which one's the service?
Well, the one going from the existing house
Yes.
to the municipal line.
See the service line. I see a
It's-
drain line.
That's what I mean.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
Oh,
If they're able to push it laterally that way a little bit and give you a little bit more space, not only does it put it closer to what the setbacks are supposed to be, but then it gives you more space if you're backing up, right?
that's.
So are you guys, do you think, have you talked with your engineer if you're able to move it like a couple feet? I mean, he's not talking
Yeah.
about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to, I mean, our conversations have been about moving it 4 or 5 feet, and at that point, this building it really just kind of blocks off
The whole
the
backyard.
whole backyard, like. It doesn't show up on the map very well, that 22-inch spruce. You know, that's the trunk, but anyway, if we had to move it. You know, more than a foot, we would probably start considering a smaller building.
Sure.
So I guess, and that's again, why we paused with the architect, because at some point. It doesn't make sense to get too.
Yeah.
But the only additional sort of incursion into the area of question. On the, I don't know how this is, yeah, I guess on the southwest corner.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, then the footprint of the new building extends a little bit further south. Is that like? How many feet is that?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
much.
Right, so
Right.
I mean, you can move it, you know, to the right. But also if that, I mean, it's not changing much in terms of. Yeah, just won't say which.
Oh, you're saying the new building will be a little bit bigger
The bench
even,
point is here, right?
right?
So, I mean, I don't know, just, yes, I mean, is that saying one option is.
Just, yes, exactly. Move
A
it.
little bit that way,
Just-
but perhaps also just there, if that is the area that's.
Yeah, you can
Right.
maybe move it 1 foot each
Then
way.
you're not exacerbating that
Yeah.
pinch point.
And it does, the way, because they've extended the building a foot or so, that
Yeah.
does exasperate my.
So if they were able to do what Patrick said there, would that be, because ultimately, like a lot of this is, you know, you guys kind of working together on this in terms of, would that be something that you would that work?
Yeah, that might work, or, I mean, there's, like I mentioned earlier today, there's probably several things that would work,
Sure,
but anything's expensive.
right,
You know, I mean, having any change at all is gonna make him go to his engineer. You know, even if I were to give up my rights, which I think are clear as day here. I control this right here, but even if I give that up to them. And I try to excavate back here to open my, you know, that's a dollar, you know, I gotta bring equipment in and.
Totally.
Expense to me for their projects, but there's ways, I think there are ways. That
What
we
is your-
haven't brainstormed about that could work.
oh, I was gonna say, what have you guys discussed or not?
Well, no, we really haven't discussed it. I
For
mean,
a year and a half,
it's-
it was go
it's-
ahead.
I would take the tree down and just say, you know, widen up your view right there. It's just that's what I think of trees. They're weeds, but, that's another topic. There's a variety of things that I think could make this project work, and I want their project to work.
right,
I really do. I mean.
Was there something on your
like
land?
You guys, in that, I used to sit on that board, well, when it was combined with the planning commission.
Sure.
And we spent our time trying to get around the regulations because somebody's asking for something, you know, it's just neighborly. I really want this to work for them. I think it's a good project. It's just, you know, it's just, it's been a problem that can be solved, I think.
sure.
I don't have any more questions. Yeah. Bob, any questions?
No, I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
Any more comments from the public or the applicant? Or, I guess, you know, procedurally, how do we want to go here?
Can we move to the executive session?
Yeah, I mean. Because this is preliminary, if it's approved, next step's final, you know, you want to get everything as sorted out as you possibly can before you come in for final.
I agree.
Okay. So yes, I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session. Deliberative session.
I'm motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any other business?
Other businesses, August meeting may be difficult because I will be out of the country during that meeting. And I'm definitely not going to dial in on that. So I talked to David a little bit today and he feels that maybe we should cancel the meeting or not, but I think that we need to get a little bit more information. I do not have any applications in process right now.
When's the deadline for that?
Deadline would be, I think the 24th.
Hmm.
So what are we now, 9th?
Yeah,
So there's still time for application to
Yeah.
come in, but
Yeah.
if applications do come in, they're going to be advised that if you decide not to have an August meeting, that there will be a September, unless you schedule a different meeting.
don't you, any applications that come in, you have 15 days to,
I have to warn it for, yeah, it has to be warned within 15 days of the meeting. But I also have deadline dates for 7 days, which usually kick in another week.
yeah, so I'm saying is even if an application came in, technically you have enough time to. If it takes longer than that, then it's past the,
Um,
I don't know, do we want to cancel the meeting? Guess that's where we're trying to get at, or do we just want to wait?
I think, I mean, it's David's call, right? It's
Yeah,
the chair,
Dave's
but,
call, right?
It is, but there won't be staff there, that's the issue.
I think, I guess I'd be inclined to cancel it. And just leave open the possibility of, occasionally we'll have folks who are, it's gonna create some hardship if we don't, and then maybe as necessary, we schedule an off cycle. I mean, we
Okay.
can see what comes in, but
Yeah,
basically apprise them, and if it's gonna create a big problem, then we could reconsider, but I mean, that would be my suggestion, but
I like that idea. I don't mind doing an off cycle if it's something,
Really?
so you could have one on the 30th of July. Because I'm back then. So I'm gone from.
that's really cutting it close in terms of public notice, right?
So,
You mean August 30th?
27th,
Of,
so I'm back on the 22nd.
oh, okay.
and it normally would be on the 13th, 20th,
Yeah, the 13th.
13th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's close enough, right?
We could move that to the 27th.
Although then it would just be 2 weeks to the next one, right?
Yeah, and that's okay, but I mean, if
Whatever.
we get, yeah,
Yeah,
if we don't have any applications or.
I think, yeah, maybe we email David and
Churches.
7th, move,
Think-
said the 13th, was it? Yeah, move August
I think
13th.
I'm gone at all.
So wait a minute, so we're talking about moving it to the 27th?
Yep. I'll be away the prior week.
Yeah, I think I'm away the prior week as well.
Yeah, I am too, actually.
Let's actually schedule a meeting for the DOB. This is your second monthly meeting.
Well, no, that'd be the 13th. We're talking about the 18th, right? August 18th. We're out the prior week.
Actually, I'm around. I got my months mixed up.
The normally scheduled one is on the 13th.
Right.
Yes.
Right, yeah. So if we're all gone the 18th through the 22nd, that or whatever, that's
So if we need an alternate, it would be the 27th.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And
Um,
that's application dependent.
Yes.
And I'll know before I go across the pond to, if we have applications.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd be inclined to push them all to September, but if there's a fire,
Yeah.
that would, we got that in our back pocket.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Right.
All right, any other business?
That's about it. The other business is there's an update. I do have an interview on Monday.
Okay, I was
for
wondering,
a
yeah.
Candidate,
great.
green, but has the schooling. Which is good, which is one of the prerequisites. The person knows how to write. Besides that, we're maintaining in the office right now as best we can.
No.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you doing double duty. That's
Yeah.
gotta be, and recruiting and not
It's
easy.
exciting, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm glad they gave you some more funds to work with. They'll hire somebody.
Yeah, they did give me more fun. Well, I'm also on a stipend to do this also.
Oh, good.
So-
Yeah, but still, you don't really want to do
No,
those.
I don't need the stipend. I
Yeah.
get off the stipend.
Yeah.
But regardless, at least, that does salve the wound a little bit.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
With that, not much. I mean, the zoning is going, the planning commission is kind of on hiatus with the town plan. We'd like to see the DRB get involved in the town plan at some point also, if possible, specifically with comments, if you could. We do have the charrette or workshops tomorrow and Saturday. If you drop in, that'd be great if you have the time. Besides that, that's, we're just maintaining at this point. And obviously, the way I do the notes though, is I place everything on the website. Soup to nuts,
Mhm.
and I give you the links for that, the Friday, at minimum, the Thursday before the meeting.
Yeah.
So if you could, gives you time to look at it over the weekend if you want to, But that's really the only portal that I'm providing at this point.
That's
I'm not
fine.
sure. I think that's what Tyler did too.
Yeah,
That's- we're
great.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yep,
All right.
appreciate the notes.
That's it. I mean, you're gonna have me here for the next few months anyway. So see if we get a person in right away, I'll still be there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Did you want to discuss other stuff afterwards? You and me?
You, yes, yeah, so on the record.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
I got.
All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second. Aye.
Hey.